Okay, so today I'm going to be listening to a performance of Christian Wolff's piece Looking North. There's a few versions online, so it's not poorly performed. Uh, and this is the score. So think of, imagine, devise a pulse, any you choose of any design. When you hear a sound or see a movement or smell a smell or feel any sensation, not seeming to emanate from yourself, whose location and time you can sense, and its occurrence coincides at some point with your pulse, make your pulse evident. So in some degree for any duration, express all coincidences, express only every 10th coincidence, forget your pulse and play as closely as you can to every second, fifth, 20th, single expression of pulse or one other player. Play a very long, generally low-pitched and quiet melody without particular reference to a pulse. Only do that once. Stop at any point. At any point, think of another pulse and proceed as above. Or think of, imagine, devise any number of pulses and so on as above. So, uh, Wolff lists some very specific things here, but I think the general idea is this text is supposed to get performers to internalize their own pulses rather than agreeing on one together, and then play in different tempi at the same time, basically, but also listen to one another, right? So it's kind of poses this interesting problem where it's like if we don't have a beat that's coordinating, how other like what other ways can we have to coordinate? And um, I'm not sure if a lot of other text scores from the 70s have done this as well, but it poses an interesting question, especially like, for example, performers who are differently abled or are maybe not able to feel a pulse, like it's a little bit more accessible than traditional music making, this idea. Or say you're trying to perform over Zoom or some video conferencing platform or something, um, then this type of performing makes total sense and actually works, and you avoid all those problems of staying in time that come with long distance performance and stuff. So I think this is an interesting piece to know about. Um, it's kind of hard to, because it's so embodied, right? It's kind of hard to judge a performance like based on these criteria, because it's hard to know what pulse the performer is thinking exactly. Um, but yeah, I think these suggestions are helpful. Like you can subdivide your pulse and create durations out of it, and these don't have to be square. Like try to avoid like dividing it into 16 and then 8 and then 4. You can think of every 10th pulse or every 5th or 2nd or whatever. Um, or you can ignore the pulse and still think about it, right? So don't even feel like you have to play in time with yourself. So I think those two suggestions in particular, C and D, are really interesting. Um, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it, really. Um, so there's this one recording. That's an excerpt from American Composers 1. And then there's a couple live performances from A Place to Listen ensemble, which seems to be a smaller organization. Then there's this performance here. Maybe we'll go with the oldest one, which would be this one. It looks like it's going to be melodica, harmonium, clarinet, mandolin, and toy piano. Link to this in the video description. Okay, I thought this was a interesting enough performance. It was very quiet and had a lot of silences. You could hear some traffic noise in the background. I'm trying to figure out what this concert series is where it was premiered. Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess Laura Brandes is the person who runs it. If we look at their videos, we have Anton Boger. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Christopher Reich, some more Christian Wolff. They did a bunch of that. Some Michael Pizarro. They have some black and white recordings of concerts. See, all seems pretty small scale. Uh, no idea where they're based, but yeah, I think that's one interpretation of this. It's sort of in keeping with um, that sort of free improv aesthetic, where you're sort of avoiding any sort of cliche or cultural trope, and uh, yeah, kind of Cajun with the amount of silence in it. I also liked the ensemble itself was kind of interesting. Um, so yeah, that was looking north. Tomorrow and the day after, gonna look at a couple James Tenney text scores from 1971, I think, yeah, I think also 1971. So um, thank you for exploring another Christian Wolff score with me today.